Hey, can you keep a secret? I want to show you something. Now, I'm not really supposed to be showing you this yet, but there is a new update to FiLMiC Pro, and yeah, it's ProRes. And it's the real deal too. 422 10-bit ProRes on an iPhone even before Apple's released it. And we're talking about all the main flavors of ProRes here. ProRes Proxy, ProRes LT, ProRes 422, and ProRes HQ. I opined on my podcast recently that I thought it would just be ProRes LT, or maybe even a new version of ProRes. I would think they would use something like ProRes LT, which is like ProRes Lite, which runs at about 100 megabits per second, approximately. And that is what the higher end apps like FiLMiC Pro do whenever they're running FiLMiC Extreme, etc. Although they can get up to 150 megabits per second. So FiLMiC Pro and Apple have really surprised me here. Although back in 2019, I went to NAB and met the FiLMiC Pro guys, and their CEO Neil said this.
What I would love to see and have advocated for a handful of years is a slightly thicker iPhone with a larger sensor and 10-bit ProRes.
So that was just over 2 years ago, and now cut to today, and the ProRes part is a reality. Now, if you don't know what ProRes is, then don't really worry about it. You probably don't need it. But for those that do, ProRes is Apple's professional video codec. It's been used for years in post-production primarily, but it's also available in some cameras and also in external recorders like from Atomos. Basically, it's a higher quality file, and importantly, it's easier to edit. One thing you're going to hear a lot of people say, and it is a valid concern, is that shooting ProRes takes up a lot of space on the storage of your phone. This is a 13 Pro Max and it has 1 terabyte of storage. I did that on purpose because I knew I would be shooting ProRes. But let me show you how it compares to shooting in the normal FiLMiC Pro codecs. So right now I'm shooting 4K in 422 Proxy. And right now, in the upper left corner of your screen, you can see how much time you get. And I'm getting 799 minutes. So basically 800 minutes shooting in ProRes Proxy. ProRes LT, it drops down to 399 minutes. ProRes 422, which is standard ProRes, it drops down to 266 minutes. So that's still 4.5 hours of recording time. That's a lot. And then ProRes HQ, you get 200 minutes. And again, that's quite a bit of time. That's almost 3.5 hours of record time. So let me show you as a comparison. If you shoot Dolby Vision, which is HDR in FiLMiC Pro, in the economy, you get 4,100 minutes. That's a ton. Never shoot in the economy. Apple Standard, which is what kind of the basic iPhone shoots in, 2,000 minutes. FiLMiC Quality, and that's one that I do choose sometimes, you get 1,367 minutes. But what I shoot in the most is FiLMiC Extreme. So FiLMiC Extreme, you're getting 820 minutes. That's more or less the same as ProRes Proxy. Now, if you shoot in 8-bit 4K, FiLMiC Extreme, you're getting 984 minutes. That's just a little bit better than ProRes Proxy as far as time goes. Quality-wise is not as good. ProRes Proxy, of course, is 10-bit. Now, lastly, let's look at 10-bit. This was new with the iPhone 12 Pro. Now, 10-bit FiLMiC Extreme, you're getting 820 minutes. Again, this is what I shoot in 99% of the time. 4K FiLMiC Extreme 10-bit, which is basically the exact same time limit as ProRes Proxy. If you're a filmmaker and you've been using ProRes a while, you may be surprised to know that using the iPhone, ProRes Proxy is probably the best choice for everyday shooting. Normally, you would use Proxy in proxy editing scenarios, but here, the bitrate is very similar to shooting FiLMiC Extreme. So for everyday kind of shooting, it's a great codec to use, so it really just depends on what you're shooting. If you're doing compositing like a green screen shot, I would shoot in ProRes HQ. That ends up being a lossless file, and again, coming from an iPhone, that's really incredible. Now I've used my iPhone as a B camera forever, often as an A camera depending on what I'm shooting, especially on YouTube. But now I really believe more and more filmmakers will start using this in more professional environments. I really do. Again, not that you couldn't before, But this, in a weird way, just legitimizes it. In my mind now, the Pro name, the iPhone Pro, iPhone Pro Max, lives up to its name. Is it gonna replace a Blackmagic camera or Red camera? No, but I could absolutely see it replacing mirrorless cameras, DSLR cameras, and those type of prosumer cameras, especially for B-roll type shots. Now, it's not all puppy dogs and ice cream because there are some caveats, and the main one is this currently does not work with the cinematographer kit. So you can't shoot 10-bit log. You also can't use the film looks that are available in FiLMiC Pro, and this only works with the 13 Pro and Pro Max. It does not work with the 13, nor does it work with any prior generation iPhones. Although one thing I will add is the cinematographer kit functionality I think is a possibility, and so that could be coming in the very near future. The other thing that'll likely happen is they'll add an HDR option to ProRes. Right now it's SDR, standard dynamic range, versus high dynamic range. But these caveats aside, the power of having ProRes in the palm of your hand can't be overstated. As I like to say, it's a great time to be a filmmaker, and now with ProRes on your phone, it's even better.